have a very special level of disdain for New Jersey's government, primarily because it's so interested in keeping people distracted with nonsense instead of improving the quality of life and lowering the cost of living that it's infuriating. We have this article coming to us from New Jersey Globe. Weinberg Corrado claim Murphy punting on Trenton misogyny. Senators take governor to task in op-ed. This is written by Nikita Birikov, whatever. either ways, either ways. In case you aren't familiar, for the past 2 years, the powers that be have been trying to wrap Governor Phil Murphy up in a hashtag Me Too or sex scandal repeatedly, okay? Going as far as to make sure that there was a op-ed, not an op-ed, but there was a article written in the Star Ledger in NJ.com and NJ.com of these ladies who, without evidence, completely uncorroborated, unsubstantiated claims of being, sexually accosted during political events throughout the state, including this real problem that many have with non-disclosure agreements on campaigns, which I can't help but feel like, then don't sign it, okay? Don't sign the NDA, don't take the job. You either want the money or you want your integrity. One of the two. You can't have both. But there's still, and I don't like Phil Murphy. Make no mistake, gang. I cannot stand Phil Murphy. I think his policies are trash, but I believe the means and the ends both need to be justified. And I don't see like with the Katie Brennan situation. The young lady went to the cops. The cops said, "Hey, there's nothing we can do with it." But they still went as far as having trials and hearings about the whole situation. And guess what came of it? Nothing. And now they're, like I said, they're using that article that took place at NJ.com to claim all of this misogyny and hatred of women and the like. When in reality, average, regular New Jerseyans, those who are not on the political plantation and who haven't left yet, they could care less. But this is the lady you're looking at right here. This is Loretta Weinberg, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're concerned about sexual harassment. What is Kellen Winslow around? Kellen Winslow Jr. Either ways, let's get into this. Two senators that headed a select committee investigating the hiring of a former staffer in Governor Murphy's administration slammed the governor over what they claimed was his superficial support of reforms fighting a culture of misogyny in the state's politics. In the State of the State address, you called for partners in the government to join you in tearing down the existing system of misogyny and harassment and to replace it with one that treats everyone with equal dignity and respect. State Senators Loretta Weinberg and Kristen Corrado said in a NewJersey.com op-ed. With all due respect, the culture won't change without leadership, Governor. Jesus Christ. During his annual address on Tuesday, Murphy called for lawmakers to stand with him against sexual harassment and other brands of misogyny that permeate Trenton, though he did so without mentioning or even alluding to the stumbles of his own administration in that arena. What stumbles? Katie Brennan and Al Alvarez, like from what I've been able to gather, and basically the police's response to it is that what happened between them was consensual. And as far as all of the claims that were made in the NJ.com article, none of them, not a single one of them, was corroborated or substantiated. Nobody went to the police, nobody went to an HR department and got a receipt. Nobody did any of that, but they're going to sit here and claim it. And that's why I have a problem with, like I said, I do not like Murphy. I would prefer him not being governor, but I would rather get rid of him as governor through legitimate means, not sitting here with this time-wasting nonsense. Ladies, you've been in this game for a really long time, especially you, Weinberg. You should know the rules by now. And I'll get to the funny part in a minute. Weinberg and Corrado led the bicameral select committee that investigated the Murphy administration's hiring of former schools development authority chief of staff Alvarez, who was accused of sexual assault by state housing and mortgage finance agency chief of staff Katie Brennan. Brennan alleged Alvarez sexually assaulted her in April 2017 when he was in charge of Muslim and Latino outreach for Murphy's campaign, for which Brennan would later volunteer. Brennan has said she was alienated by her colleagues in state government after her allegations against Alvarez were reported in the Wall Street Journal, and is currently suing the state over a policy enforcing gag orders on sexual assault accusers. Murphy has also drawn fire from lawmakers over non-disclosure agreements signed by members of his campaign that Weinberg and others said prevent victims from raising issues about workplace conditions, including those related to sexual harassment. Once again, you either take the money or you take the integrity, but you don't get to have both. Sorry. The governor has so far declined to release his campaign workers from their NDAs, claiming they cannot be used to silence victims. The problem with that is that that has never been true. The NDAs your campaign consultants and staffers were forced to sign legally do not work that way, the senator said. What do you mean forced? You have the option to not sign it. Yeah, you don't get a job, but hey, what's more important? Go work at McDonald's, Jesus. If you, Governor, would like to clear that up, however, and actually mean it when you say we will listen, we would be happy to provide you with the number of Paul Josephson, your campaign's lawyer. Weinberg and Corrado said Josephson has told former members of Murphy's campaign that the NDAs preclude the type of disclosure Murphy says they allow. Josephson did not immediately respond to a 12:02 p.m. phone call seeking comment. Okay, why was that time so necessary? I don't know, maybe got a word quota. Weinberg, who is Senate Majority Leader, is launching an ad hoc committee meant to investigate the culture of misogyny in the state's capital. Jesus Christ. Investigate lowering these taxes, please. She recently added Elizabeth Coulter, who served as Deputy Director of the state in Murphy's Department of Health Offices of Women's Health before leaving to become the Director of Public Health for Planned Parenthood Action Fund of New Jersey, to the committee's cohort. Coulter's name was not on the list of 17 Murphy loyalists Lieutenant Sheila Governor asked to be added to Weinberg's committee. You asked the legislators to join you, but we asked you to join us. I don't care who. You know what? Yeah, it's so retarded. Weinberg and Corrado said, there is a problem with the culture. That much we can agree on, but we are willing to work to change it. There's a problem with the culture, but it has nothing to do with misogyny. It has everything to do with the tax and spend that you guys are just happy to continue going along as long as you're getting your paycheck. As long as your check clear, you could care less about what average regular Jerseyans have to go through. And that's the problem. Your only concern is your own agenda, which from what I've been able to tell, my sources, I have sources, told me was this is just a means in which to get at Murphy and to push Murphy in certain ways. And like I said in the beginning of this video, that I want him going too, but I want it done in the proper fashion. I'd rather somebody step up and beat him in a primary. I would rather somebody, I would rather the Senate come together, the Senate and the Assembly come together and say, oh, look, man, these taxes ain't working, bro. But no, this is some underhanded bullshit that they're trying to push through. And here's the funny part, all right, that I said I was going to get to. The Pence rule is now in effect. There is a getaway, a father-son getaway that a lot of the females are complaining about because, oh my goodness, this is very exclusionary. You're not letting us into your boys club. But sweetheart, when you're going to sit there and throw out, when the chances of you throwing out a false accusation or, trying to claim some type of harassment or anything else like that, the best way to snuff it out is to, hey, ladies, be on your way. Do your own thing. It's all good. We ain't even worried about y'all over here. The Pence rule is probably the best way to just completely make sure that you're not putting yourself in a compromising circumstance. Because ladies, for as much as you work to get to where you're at, the gentlemen, they worked hard too to get to where they're at. And so why would they sit there and jeopardize it by bringing you along with the the chances of, even if it didn't happen, you claiming something happened on this trip and the like. So it's it really is a no-win situation, but that's life for the most part. Life is one gigantic no-win situation, guys. So with that being said, we're gonna bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you like the toss and like this, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and BitChute aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know, what do you think in the comments. It's the logical response from the men in this situation is the one that they're taking. Hey, we just gonna go. We gonna have us our own little boys club, and we gonna do this right here. We like, y'all stay over there. We gonna be over here. We gonna have to separate it, because during Governor Murphy's address, he's sitting there talking about, oh my god, like right now, some of the conclusions that they've come to is that they're not gonna be serving alcohol on their fancy people let's rub elbows train rides to Washington and stuff like that. And Steve Sweeney said he's completely not even going to the thing. And they're like, oh well, that's not good enough. It'll never be good enough. It'll never be good enough, no matter what they decide to do, particularly with the pinch rule. Oh my goodness, how dare you exclude women? Because you're a liability, darling, and you don't even see it. And that's the jacked up part. In his stand-up, Dave Chappelle was saying, like, yeah, look, that pendulum going to swing the other way, and you're not going to like it, and this is a part of it. So, Weinberg, like, seriously, who is going to sexually harass Loretta Weinberg except for Kellen Winslow Jr.? By all means. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. All right, do you think that it's a smart move to bring in the pinch rule and say, hey, look, okay, best way to prevent any type of harassment is to completely separate the sexes? I mean, it literally makes the most sense, but that's not good enough. And like I said, it'll never be good enough. But you may disagree, and that's what I have a comment section for. All right. So until the next one.